right? But those are the areas we can incorporate there. But in the middle, it's all open, big lawn, because people love to just sort of relax in the park. So that's scenario one.
Can you talk a little bit about the art wall?
Yeah, so that's what James is highlighting. That's the big structure. It's in the shape of a osprey, which is in the upper right-hand corner of the slide. And you can move your mouse to show the whole loop of the pathway system, of the orange pathway system, the loop, yeah, the entire loop that creates. And you can use that loop to add art. Any kind of art program can be incorporated in here, right? So that could be your art loop if you want.
Can you explain how that's going across Irving? It's really hard to see. So does all that stop before Irving?
Where's Irving Avenue when there?
Yeah, so
Because it looks like it's on top of Irving.
the Irving Avenue is curved, so right now it goes straight. So what we did is we just put a little bit of bend in it, that's all.
Oh.
And we created the space for that little structure.
So
Oh,
it'll
so the
essentially be
orange curve
will
is
it be
Irving.
crosswalks across?
Yes, so that's why I put a different color on the
Okay.
Irving Avenue, thinking that we could do pavers. Pavers, as soon as you see pavers, cars tend to think, oh, wait a minute,
Slow down.
let me slow down. So these are sort of traffic calming measures that we can incorporate in there.
And these, tails that come into the water, what are they?
They're like a dock or pier,
Okay.
yeah.
So they're raised.
Just, yeah, two, and they're just wider, so that you can do more than just walk on it. You can put benches on it, like, I live near Washington DC, and we have huge piers there. They have swings on them, like big swings. They have interesting art pieces on them that kids can climb over, sleep over. You can see a picture of over there, yeah, that one, the one below that, the kayak. You know, it's just a big concrete carpet essentially, but it's like folded, and people can sit on it at different angles depending on the sun, depending on the wind, and just enjoy the river. So it's kind of cool stuff we can do on it.
Wouldn't the pavilion kind of block the rest of the park from the water view?
It's pretty open if you see the.
Well, it looks like a yellow block
Yeah,
to me.
well, on the upper right-hand corner, there is that section of the pavilion on the upper right-hand
Well,
corner of
what's
the
the
slide.
yellow thing then?
Yellow
On-
thing.
Beyond
Yeah.
Irving,
What, on the water?
on the water.
Greenish yellow.
I think it's just more green space.
Yeah, it's just green, it's just
Oh,
grasses.
oh,
It's just
oh,
grasses
okay.
and things like that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you
yeah.
said there was some kind of pavilion there, that's up in the corner. Okay.
No.
I-
No, the
The
pavilion
red
is down.
The pavilion is, James, can you point to the
There.
pavilion? No, that's the one,
Right here.
no,
That's
along the water.
The yellow.
Yellow,
Lime green.
How about this? When after we
Yeah,
go
we'll
through
look
all
at it,
three,
that's fine.
the boards will be here and I'll be
Yes.
here to really talk you through each of those
Yeah.
questions, right? Because we got to go through those three scenarios. I wanna go through these three scenarios so we can get to the exercise, and I'm gonna be here
Okay.
to answer any questions. So, how about just meeting on the docks with your friends, your family, and let's meet on the docks at Lenore Park. That's the concept we took. You know, and so we took the inspiration from the Chicago River project that I just showed you, with some jagged, interesting pier forms there. And then we thought, okay, well, how can we incorporate that feature into our park? So in this particular option, I didn't mess with the Irving Avenue at all. I just turned it into a little paved surface so that we can do a little bit of traffic calming. And then we have docks along the Irving Avenue, and we have pathway loops. And in this particular case, we put the pavilions on two sides of it. You can highlight the pavilions, you have that one and the other one. And what we have done, which is unique in this particular option, is you can see that the parking lot actually connects the Irving Avenue with, what's the street on the top? Lawson, yes. And what that does, it provides like a safe parking space. On on the other side, closer to the east boundary of the park, we have a strip along the parking area, internal parking gyms on the east side. Yes, on the east of that parking space, you will see a little yellow strip, right? That's just a flexible space where you can either do additional parking or you can do a farmer's market. Those kinds of activities can be done. That's the beauty of this option when you do that parking, because then you can block it off easily and you can have a different activity there, such as farmer's market.
Does that option have restrooms?
It does have a restroom. The larger structure on the left-hand side there, the restrooms are combined with the pavilion. So instead of having a restroom separate and a pavilion separate, it has both of them into it. And we are doing, actually we are in two projects where the architects are incorporating the restroom in a pavilion, which is actually, it's kind of cool. You can shape it beautifully as well. This option also has an interesting winding loop that cuts through the otherwise diagonal shaped lines. The diagonal shaped lines sort of create 4 different quadrants, and now you can have 4 different parties, if you will, in the town of different shape and size for different purposes, right? So that's kind of the idea behind this scenario.
Question before you go. 2 of the little docks have water in them. What's that about?
Just a hole in the.
So you walk around
You
it?
you walk around it.
Okay.
Or, doesn't have to be a hole. It could be that carpet that I showed you, like it could be something interesting in the middle. I might have a slide in the next one which shows one of the docks.
I have one question. So should we assume that the first scenario did not have parking, and the second one does have parking?
The first one, I apologize, I didn't mention it, but the first one had parallel parking along the road.
That is incorrect.
Parallel
I'm so
parking.
sorry.
So
Maybe
you
this
see on the
might
left
be you get your dress
side
here just in
and
time.
along the
Good stuff.
Avenue,
You bet. Find a seat.
parallel parking.
Find a seat.
All right. So the third option, obviously this town has worked really hard to preserve this Illinois Park. And we have differing views about how the park should be done.
There's some seats on that side too. Next to
And from what I heard, there's a lot of tension. So how can we use the park to unite everyone? And so we thought of this.
There's no love.
We thought of this.
Yay!
Can we say Illinois Park made with love and literally use the symbol of love as part of the park? We heard stories that people renew their vows at the park. We heard stories that people actually get married at the park. And we thought, okay, how cool it would be to advertise, come to Colonial Beach, get married at the only love dock that you can find. Something like that. So we were kind of imagining how you would tell a story about your park to the rest of the world. And we thought that, okay, well, this might resonate because that's the charm of the small town, right? You always have something quirky, something different than big cities. Big cities have way too many things to talk about. We want something unique that other people don't have. So can this be, do you think this would be something that will resonate with your town that you want to promote? So it's pretty simple, just similar to the other options. You have a big loop, right? It's lots of opportunity for benches. Otherwise, it's very open. You have 3 different quadrants, if you will, to hold different events, parties, things like that. You can throw frisbees and things like that. You can scale that middle portion, big, small. You don't have, if you want less hardscape, you can scale it down. If you want more plaza space, you can scale it up. The restrooms are in the upper left-hand corner, along with a potential pavilion. Another pavilion is at the middle of the heart, correct? And then on the part where it joins, into the water, it's just a dock, very wide dock. And you can point to the picture in the middle there, the one on the left-hand side, please. Yes, that one. And you might see it better when we have the boards here, but it has like swings and things like that on it, which might be enough to go and just sit on it, enjoy the breeze, and it's kind of fun to do that. So those kinds of things or elements can be incorporated onto the dock there. So the other big thing about all three of them is really making sure there is enough greenery. Other than lawn, pathway, pavilions, I think we should really plant it heavily with native shrubs and ground covers and things like that. So in all three options, you will see towards the roadside, Lossing and the perpendicular road, which is
Dandridge?
Dandridge. You will see there is a lot of greenery. It's just basically, other than parallel parking, there is a lot of greenery. So that's something we think it's very important.
Three is also parallel, not a parking spot. Only two has.
This one also has parallel parking, that is correct. That is correct.
And the loop on ground is pavers or something?
Yeah, it could be pavers, it could be concrete too. It could be even,
Boardwalk?
it could be boardwalk. It could be even gravel. Like for example, if you go back one slide, yeah, the winding pathway that you see, very narrow, which is only 5 feet in the plan view, James. Yeah, there's a winding pathway that sort of, keep going, that one. That could be gravel if you want, because having that textural difference is very helpful. You don't want to always walk on the concrete or the pavers or the asphalt. You could be walking, some people like that crunch of the gravel, and some people don't, and that's okay. Like, especially I know my grandparents wouldn't want that, because they might not enjoy it as much. They might not find it safe, but kids love it. So it all depends, and this is about big picture, and we can always fine tune. Materials can be fine tuned, architecture can be fine tuned, planting talent can be fine tuned, shapes can be fine tuned as well. None of these shapes are.
In your planning of all this, okay, when you're talking about the different textures or what you're using for your walkways, there should be some consideration as longevity of
Yes.
wood versus pavers versus, rocks or whatever. I mean, I think that's something that needs to be
Yes,
decided
absolutely.
also. You don't want to have the town have to come in every year and replace the stones because
Very good
they
point.
drown or whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Accessibility.
Accessibility, 100%.
ADA requirements, people,
100%.
wheelchairs, walkers, things like that.
Universal access is extremely important. Let's see if I have any more slides. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, so these are the three scenarios, essentially. And I think what we can do now, James, maybe put up the boards here so people can come up front and look at things very closely.
We got a grant for putting this into a park in perpetuity.
Uh-huh.
And I believe an obligation of that grant is to plant a buffer zone on the riverside. Have you got things incorporated in this that would satisfy that?
We'll have to really look into it more closely, but
Okay.
what we have attempted in the first option especially, we did some things similar to what you're saying.
Okay.
Adding a planted buffer. So that hopefully will satisfy them. If not, we are definitely adding a lot more planting throughout the park, and we just have to talk to them, talk to someone who knows more about it, to understand what the requirement is, and yeah, it can be incorporated, not a problem.
Okay.